Hey everybody, it's Preston here, aka Godzilla Hawk, and welcome to your AEW Full Gear review. I know this is a little late for some people. I want to get my review out because these pay-per-views end around 9-ish, and I had to take Brandon home. But Brandon did watch the show for me, with the show with me. And he and I have the same thoughts on the show, and so you can tell from the title, everyone unanimously has been saying this, and I think this is well deserved. So I'm just going to do this AEW to Tony Khan, to every single man, woman, referee for the show. That's me applauding. Because this was by far, if this was not AEW's best pay-per-view, it will go down as one of their best pay-per-views, and I will even say AEW's best pay-per-view this year. I thought AEW Revolution, the beginning of the year, I thought was good, but it was definitely one of the weaker shows. I thought AEW's Double or Nothing was very good. I thought All Out was good, but by far their weakest show. So we had the kind of rocky thing with AEW. We never had a bad show, but it was very rocky. And AEW had one final pay-per-view, which was Full Gear tonight, to end the year of 2020, which has been a very political, controversial, horrible year 2020 has been. And so AEW gave us Full Gear. And I'm proud to say, like I said, this was one of AEW's best pay-per-views ever that they've done thus far. And by far, AEW's best pay-per-view of the year. This might even go down for being the best pay-per-view period this year. That includes WWE, NXT, New Japan, and I just watched Power Struggle, and Power Struggle was a great show. But this was just, even the weakest match wasn't a terrible match. And there are some things to nitpick. There will be things for me to nitpick because I also am a wrestling fan. I have to grade things, professionally. I have to try and give my thoughts on why I like and why I don't like. So this was not a perfect show, but this was definitely a fun and fantastic show, bar none. So I don't want to be here up all day, so I'm going to get through the matches. So without further ado, let's go here. So, just very quickly, I want to talk about the NWA Women's Championship. I know this was on the pre-show. I don't count this match on the show. If this match was taking place of the Hikaru Shida Nia Rose match instead, this might have been a perfect pay-per-view. But Serena Deeb and Allison Kay, they had a really good pre-show match, so I just want to get that out of the way. And it's kind of ironic, ever since the NWA Women's Division has come up with Serena Deeb and Allison Kay, and especially my girl Thunder Rosa, the Women's Division has felt more fresh. It's felt more like it's been taken more seriously. And I'll get to the AEW Women's Division match when I get to that one, but kind of a sign of where I'm going to kind of go with this. But I want to give props to Allison Kay and Serena Deeb on this pre-show because they had a very good match. So I want to give them credit. But that match is not going to determine how Full Gear was because Full Gear I don't include pre-show matches. It's all the main card. Just saying, if this women's match, though, the pre-show match was on this card, the match card would probably be even higher. So we open up with Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page in the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Finals, where the winner will receive a AEW World Title match in the near future. This match, it says it was like only less than 17 minutes. It was a short match, but they did a lot. This was your high-paced, hard-hitting, go-go match. Heyman and Omega have excellent chemistry. And what's interesting about this is not even their best match. Well, maybe because they did have one other match in New Japan, and I think they might have had some other matches outside, maybe Ring of Honor, maybe. But this was a taste of what these two can do. Kenny Omega, I think it was pretty obvious Kenny Omega was going to win this whole thing. I think Kenny Omega was going to win this tournament. It was pretty obvious he was. But Heyman did not look weak. They stiffed the shit out of it. They got some good knees in. They got some clotheslines, some unique counters. But at the end of the day, Omega hits the one-wing angel. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and by the way, I gotta give special props. We have special commentator for this match, Don Callis, who I believe is the executive producer for Impact Wrestling now. Don Callis is the guy that's called a lot of Omega's matches down in New Japan and Ring of Honor. So it was great to hear his voice. I'm a big Don Callis fan, especially on commentary. So I'm a huge fan. So it was nice to get him to talk to Kenny Omega. When it's kind of cool because he's from Impact. Maybe this could be a working relationship with Impact too, because Impact's got great talent. I haven't watched Impact, but I watched a couple pay-per-views this year, and they do have some really good talent. They really do. And I think an NWA, Impact, and AEW partnership, and now you combine it hopefully with New Japan. Imagine that. Imagine all four of these companies working together to trade talent on every other show. The shows would get a lot more attention. The shows would get more fresh matches, some dream matches we probably didn't think of. So I really hope that's in the direction because although I don't talk about Impact a lot, for what I've seen, Impact is not doing a bad job. I'm not like watching Impact full time, but I did watch out, like for example, Bound for Glory. I thought Rich Swann and Eric had a great main event, but I think that's just kind of cool. But Kenny Omega wins, so he's going to get a world title shot. If I had to predict, I think they're going to do that for Revolution. I think that would be the better time to do it. Do not do it on episode Dynamite. Save that big match for Revolution, and I'm going to kind of make a bold prediction what's going to happen. There. Next, this was on the buy-in show, but it got moved to the main show. It was Orange Cassidy versus John Silver of the Dark Order. John Silver has been impressive recently in his tag matches on being the elite, doing the comedy sketches, which have been funny. Recently, he's proved immensely. The guy's small, but he's built very well. And this was kind of your filler, comedy-esque match. Orange Cassidy's great. I'll say it, Orange Cassidy's really good at his job. But Silver really impressed me. For a match that, let's be honest, this match didn't need to be on the show. It really didn't. You could have put this on Dynamite, it'd been just as fine. But the fact that they're willing to take a risk by including like Orange Cassidy and John Silver, two newer guys, on a pay-per-view, is huge. And John Silver has got to be happy. I mean, he was probably remember, John Silver came in, as this local talent, guy wrestling on Dark. He wasn't getting noticed until he went with the Dark Order. And then he started getting a personality. He started showing off, and he's been improving. And I'm not saying he's going to be world champion, at least anytime soon. But I think with his talents, he could be a TNT champion, maybe, especially tag team champion. Silver has a lot of charisma about him that I think he can easily branch out from his own one day. So he really impressed me. Orange Cassidy, like I said, John Silver had worked well with each other. It was a filler match, but you know what? It was one of the better filler matches I've seen. And that's saying a lot. I've seen a lot of filler matches. When I think filler, I think waste of time, just time killer. Yeah, this match didn't need to necessarily be on the show, but it wasn't like the match ruined the show. If you're going to do a filler match, make it mean something. Make it worth my time. Don't just put it on there for the sake of just putting it on there. Make them work for it, and I think that's what they did. Orange Cassidy got the victory, which was a fine move. That's nothing to complain about. But Silver, like I said, impressed me. Even Brandon, who didn't know a whole lot with John Silver, he kind of vaguely remembered him, but he was kind of impressed with him. So props to both these guys, especially John Silver. Fun filler match, I would like to say. Next, Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. The story wrote itself. These two previously had 3 matches. The first match was at Fyter Fest, which ended in time limit draw. The second time, Darby lost due to help with Arn Anderson trying to encourage Cody to move out of the way and counter the move, and Cody got the win. Third time, it was in the, I believe, it might have been the TNT Championship tournament. And there was a controversy where Darby hits the coffin drop and he just kind of slid off him, and Cody kind of slid off him and pinned Darby. Controversial finish. The story wrote itself. Cody Rhodes has never lost to Darby. Darby was the underdog. Cody Rhodes was the established name. He was the guy that came from WWE, the son of a plumber, the first ever two-time TNT champion, inaugural TNT champion, one of the faces of the company, one of the executive producers of the AEW, and you have Darby Allin, this face painted, almost Jeff Hardy-esque daredevil, relentless up-and-comer. And the story wrote itself. And this was Darby's first real chance at a championship. And not only does he have a chance to become TNT champion, he has to do it by being a man he has never beaten. The story wrote itself. And I appreciate that. With that being said, this was another great match in its own way. But god damn it, Darby, you gotta stop taking those bombs. But you have Brandon and I scared throughout that entire show. So you know that's very cool. Again, kind of similar to their previous matches. You know, Cody dominated a lot of the match. Darby was playing the underdog role. You know, Cody working the arm. There was even a couple times Cody was getting confident, overconfident. You know, doing push-ups. You know, mocking Darby. Even Arn Anderson was yelling at Cody like, "Dude, just pin him. What are you doing? Pin him." Storytelling, progressing the story. What's going on there? Fucking great job what they're doing. Darby starts making a comeback. Darby hits the coffin drop, and we think that's it, and Cody kicked out. I'll admit, I was pissed. I was like, dude, seriously? Come on. Let him win off that move. So Cody kept on fighting. Darby kept on fighting until the final few seconds. Cody goes for a cradle. 1-2 counter. 1-2 roll up. 1-2. And they keep just exchanging roll ups until finally Darby gets the shock win by a roll up and pins Cody to become the new TNT champion. Darby Allin finally wins his first championship. And Cody Rhodes is shocked. He can't believe what just happened. Arn Anderson got this look like, that didn't happen. Tell me that didn't happen. Darby on the ground with one arm wins. And you see Cody telling Darby, get over here. You're thinking maybe Cody's going to turn heel and is going to attack Darby, but no. He bows to, basically puts one foot down and another foot up, lunges, and presents the TNT Championship to Darby. And Darby, you could tell the guy looks like he's about to cry. This is a great moment, like a great passing the torch. And then along comes Taz. Taz comes out and says, you know, this is bullshit. This is stupid. You know, congratulations. We're all getting emotional now. This is stupid. You know, blah, blah, this and that. And we see Brian Cage and Ricky Starks come out and they attack both Cody and Darby Allin. They put Darby through one of the full gear setups. And it looks like they're going to destroy Darby's arm. They're going to put him in a car, which Darby rode in on. And it looks like they're going to crush his arm in a car until Will Hobbs, my boy Will Hobbs, Willpower, comes up and saves the day. And you see this shot. I do like this shot. You see Darby laying on the car with the skateboard that he smashed on the windshield stuck on there saying, Face of TNT. You see Darby just laying there almost unconscious with the TNT Championship on him. I just think that stuff like that, little stuff like that, is just excellent. And I appreciate. So clearly, they're doing something with Brian Cage and they're doing something with Ricky Starks with the storyline. Where is this going to go? Could this lead to some sort of match at Revolution? Maybe a four-way. Hell, it's possible they can make a five-way and add Will Hobbs to the mix. There's a lot of things they could do with that TNT title picture right now. If I had my way, I would probably just do Cody, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Darby Allin. Or, no, you want to put them and Will Hobbs and put them in a four-way match on Dynamite. And then the winner of that match goes on to fight Darby Allin at Revolution for the TNT Championship. That's what I would do. And make it more interesting. Make that four-way a fatal four-way elimination match. That's what I would do. Have them do a four-way with Will Hobbs, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Cody Rhodes. And the winner gets the next shot at Darby Allin's TNT Championship at Revolution. That's what I would do. Promote a big match like that to get set up for Revolution. If you want, you could do Darby Allin, Cody Rhodes again. You could do Brian Cage and Darby Allin. You know, those guys have had history. Ricky Starks and Darby, you know, those guys have fought a lot, but they have good chemistry. Will Hobbs and Darby Allin would be interesting too. Hell, maybe that's not the direction they want to go. Maybe they want to do Darby Allin versus Lance Archer. You know, Lance Archer talked about how he wants to be a champion. He doesn't want to be forgotten. Maybe they do something completely different with Revolution. Literally a David versus Goliath. Lance Archer versus Darby Allin. I'd be all for that. I think that would be great. The styles those two have, the big man, little man situation. Darby Allin is not just some little guy. He's very relentless. He's like a pit bull. He'll go after you. And Lance Archer is just a beast. They're going to be story like there. So there's a lot of possibilities they can go with when it comes to TNT Championship picture. But that's basically what happened. So congratulations, Darby Allin has finally won his first championship. And that won't be the first championship that will change hands. Next, we get by far the weakest match. Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose for AEW Women's Championship. Just briefly about this match, and then we're going to go on to the big problem. The match itself was average. It was okay. I have seen way worse AEW women's matches on TV. I have seen more boring, more forgettable matches. Their match at Double or Nothing was far better. This was not that. Shida, though, ended up retaining, which was the right outcome. Nothing against Nyla Rose, but Hikaru, I think, needs to be faced because I do believe, and I'm not a fan of this. I'm not really a fan of this, but you know, Hikaru Shida could be fighting Britt Baker. Because let's be honest, Britt Baker is not a good wrestler. Let's just be honest. She's a great character, but not a great wrestler. But Britt Baker is the only true female star that has had any real build. A character, she can talk in the mic, she's great at that, being at this annoying bitch you just want to see get her comeuppance. She plays the Britt Baker arrogant douchebag character perfection. The problem with her is her in-ring ability. She's very green. But at this point, Hikaru Shida, unless they're going to sign maybe like Allison Kay, who's a free agent, unless they sign Thunder Rosa, which ain't going to happen because Thunder Rosa is a part of NWA still right now, so she's not going to be wrestling full-time for any other company at the moment. I would love Serena Deeb, but she's the NWA Women's Champion right now. I would like to see all three of those women, Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, and Allison Kay, just drop out NWA and just go straight to AEW. They really will help that division alone. But at this point, if we need a top heel to help carry a feud, to kind of get semi more interest in a women's match, Britt Baker's the only choice. It'll be, I think, better build. I think Britt Baker could hold herself on promos. But I don't know how good the match would be because Britt Baker's just very green. We can like Britt Baker. You can talk about how great she is, but we have to be real. She's not a good wrestler. She's still very green. And it sucks because she's been wrestling for, 5-6 years? She's had quite a few years on her. So you think she would kind of get a little bit better. But it seems like her matches are very boring. There's no real communication. I don't know how this match would play out, but at this point, there's really no option unless AEW signs someone like a Tessa Blanchard or some big name. I don't know who else to really get with Britt Baker. So Shia won. If that's the case, then I have no choice. Britt Baker and Shia. And Britt Baker could be the best AEW Women's Champion in terms of character, but that's about it. She's a great character, but she's not like MJF. MJF is a great character, but he's a great wrestler too. Britt Baker is everything but a good wrestler. Now, because of AEW Women's Division, like I said, they treat this division very poorly. The title looks bad. Like every time I see it now, it gets worse. I feel like it gets worse now. The women's division seems flat, and they don't seem to have a lot of effort. Like literally, Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose literally just threw this match in like 2 weeks before this pay-per-view with barely any build-up. Meanwhile, the NWA's women's style, they get more build, they get more promo time, and they actually kill it with their matches. When Thunder Rosa came in for AEW, the women's division, it was like, holy shit, this women's division is actually pretty good. But the minute they went back to AEW, we're having like Big Swole versus fucking Britt Baker in that tooth or nail match, that abomination. So AEW really needs to get their act together and really focus on their own division. It's great to include NWA, that's great, but if you're going to put time ever for NWA, then put the time ever for your division. Take the best women you have. Look at your entire roster you have signed. Look at the best women in terms of looks, and look at character, and look at mic skills and in-ring ability, and you figure out who is the best of that group. Because there are a lot of women in this company, in this entire world, that would love to work for AEW, and they are talented. Kimmy Shue, Kimberly Diamond, who I'm friends with, she's known as a pretty little psycho here in East Bay Pro. I think she'd be great. She's a really good worker. She's a very beautiful, young, great woman, but she has a great character. This psychotic, pretty little psycho gimmick could work. You know, Tay Conte and Jade, they're two beautiful women, but they're really improved in the ring. I would start maybe utilizing them. You know, Big Swole's good, but I feel like she needs more work on her in-ring ability. I just feel like she hasn't got enough work in. And Big Swole is really good. I've seen her in the Mania Classic. She can be very good. But in AEW, it feels like she's been a flop. And I don't know why that is. AEW needs to put more time and effort in their division because it's still the weakest part of their entire company. I will stand by that. So I think that's what they need to do. So by far the weakest match, but it was not the worst match I've ever seen. Next match. This might have been match of the night. Even Brand, I think, would probably say too that this was our match night. The Dream Match. The Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, take our FTR, formerly known as the Revival, for the AEW Tag Team Championships. If the Young Bucks lost, they could no longer challenge for the tag team titles, and Tully Blanchard was banned from ringside. I'm at a loss for it. So apparently Matt Jackson's leg injury is actually a serious injury, but the doctors cleared him to compete. I don't know how to describe this match other than just excellent. And the best part is this is not the best what they can do. I know these teams, they could kill it even more. They could have even had a better match. This was still great though. Dax Hardwood, or formerly known as Scott Dawson, hurt his hand bad. He actually busted his hand when he tried chopping. I think it might have been one of the Young Bucks. I think it might have been Matt, and he smacked his hand on that ring post. Which is, by the way, it's not those round ring posts like in WWE or like in a lot of the pro wrestling rings. This is the like steel beam with the edges, and he cut his hand. So Dawson, I'm just gonna call him Dawson. So Dawson's hand was bleeding, so his hand was hurt, and you had Matt's leg that was injured. I can't go move for move because so much happened. But both teams paid tribute to tag teams. You had FTR, paying tribute to guys like the Brainbusters, the Steiner Brothers, the Hart Foundation, and this one got me. They went to their opposite corners on, I think it was Matt Jackson, and they did the old DIY finisher, the knee and super kick in the combination, and Excalibur Flat said DIY. Flat out DIY callback to their time against the DIY in NXT, which were two of the best tag teams of that era. Those four men brought the best out of each other. The Revival became a household name thanks to their match with DIY. I will stand by that. No other team brought it to each other like those two did. The only other team I would say the Revival really got their money's worth was American Alpha, but DIY just brought that extra spark with them. I loved that little callback. And then the Young Bucks, they paid tribute to their own tag teams, like the Hardy Boys. They did the Team Extreme and the Twisted Fate and Swanton. These guys were just going at it, just diving, countering, submissions. And towards the end, we see Dax Hardwood, all alone with Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson has his boot off. They took his boot off. It's all wrapped. His ankle's all wrapped up. Just like he's going to finish up, and Matt just hits a super kick with his bare feet out of nowhere. Bam! And pins him. Again, I can't do this match justice because I'm only giving you just brief Cliff Notes versions of this. But this was an outstanding match. You have to go watch it to understand what I'm saying. I can't. Talking about this match just doesn't do it justice. This might have been my match of the night. And if I asked Brandon, it probably was too. Nothing more to say, just a fantastic tag team match. Next, we get the Elite Deletion match. Matt Hardy and versus Sammy Guevara. This was the Sid-Mac match. So much shit to talk about. I can't just I'm going to be tired. We still have two more matches after this. I'm sorry. I like doing these reviews, but I'm a little tired. So this is just fucking like where am I? So Sammy Guevara enters the Hardy compound because this takes place at Hardy's house. And he arrives in a golf cart. Oh, I love me some continuity. And Sammy's trying to look for Matt. We see Neo 1 leaving a message for Sammy Guevara, Matt Hardy, holograms. So you brought this upon yourself, and the golf cart gets shut down because Neo 1 shut the golf cart down. And then we see on the other Matt Hardy driving what's called a straight jacket, a monster truck. Matt Hardy in a monster truck about to run over Sammy Guevara in a golf cart while there is a drone named Neo 1 shooting holograms. If that shit doesn't make you excited for this match, then get the fuck out of here, because this match was your cinema match. It was the fucking fun to watch. This was the entertainment fun match. I know I've complained about cinematic matches, but the problem I had with the WWE ones is because we got so many of them that I just got sick of them. And some of them weren't even fun. They were just crap. This was the broken mat stuff they did back in Impact, which were fun. Those were fun, cinematic, over the top, just ridiculous matches. And this was that one. So he runs over the carpet. Sammy Guevara got out there, and they start just beating the crap out of each other. They move, they fight everywhere. Eventually, until they get to the ring, they actually have a full gear ring somewhere, I think, in the backyard, his property, and they start fighting. They beat each other up with some tables, and we think Matt's going to win until Santana Ortiz come out, and they start beating down Matt. And we think, oh, Sammy's going to win. It's a 3-1. But earlier in the show, Matt made a call saying, hey, I think Sammy's going to bring some help. So if they come in with help, be on the lookout. And we see Private Party in a car waiting for the signal, and they head on over and they help even up the odds. It's a 3-on-3 match. They start brawling everywhere, and eventually Sammy and Matt get over towards the Lake of Reincarnation. And it looks like Matt's going to throw Sammy Guevara in the Lake of Reincarnation. Until we see Hurricane Helms. Now my new favorite guy. Politics. And he's kidnapped by this guy in a dark mat and like hood mask. And we're thinking, who's this? But he has Hurricane. And he reveals himself to be fucking Gangrel. Brad and I were shocked. It's like, no way. And it was also ironic because Gangrel originally had the Hardy Boys as members of the Brood. And then eventually it led to Edge and Christian with Gangrel. But there was a time Matt and Jeff were the Brood with Gangrel, so I like that little story. And plus, Gangrel, guy's old, but the guy can work. And I've met the guy, cool guy. So now it's a 4-on-4, and Matt helps Hurricane Helms get out of there. Hurricane gets thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation and appears as Shane Helms, the reporter that would do interviews, and he tries to interview, I think it might have been Gangrel or Sammy Guevara. No, I think it was like Sammy Guevara, and then Sammy throws him back in the water, and he comes back as Hurricane Helms, and it's a 4-on-4 match. They're just beating the crap out of each other. Until eventually, Sammy and Matt get fireworks. And I went, oh no. Oh no. And they start basically having a water gun fight, except with fireworks. Actually, I think it might be kind of out of order, but basically they were shooting fireworks at each other. Sammy runs, and eventually Matt and Sammy get locked in a warehouse, Matt's warehouse, where they have the old Hardy Boys ring they train in. They have like caskets in there, chairs. There's a 20-foot ladder in the center of the ring. Sammy and Matt are locked in there. No one else can get in. They're beating the crap out of each other. We see Sammy Guevara go on top of the ladder and do literally a swanton on tribute to Jeff Hardy, almost beating Matt. And then we see Matt spear Sammy Guevara out of the ring through tables, similar to what Edge did to Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22 in the greatest hardcore match. And because this was cinematic, they cut away. You see Sammy head's bleeding. No, he wasn't actually hurt because this was cinematic. So they just probably put the fake blood on his back of his head. Because apparently both Sammy and Matt walked out of that match fine, so they were not hurt. But Sammy's back, his head's bleeding. You see Matt, he chucks a chair at Sammy, smacks the chair in his face. Hits a twist of fate. Then hits a concerto. Love that. And he pins Sammy, and Brad and I were just thinking, what the fuck did we just watch? And I had a smile on my face. I was having a great time with this match. This was just a fun, stupid match. And I get matches like this aren't going to be for everybody. But that's one thing I respect about AEW is this AEW pay-per-views usually has a match or a certain match that's going to appease to somebody. That's the one thing I like. Like, it's not the same thing. You'll get your tag team match, you'll get your high flying match, you'll get your submission match, you'll get your women's match, you'll get your Kanye match, you'll get your over the top match, you'll get your hardcore match, you'll get your character match, your story match. That's the one thing I appreciate about AEW is every pay per view you're gonna get something different, and that something's gonna be some good for that other individual. So I appreciate that. So Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, it was just fun. That was just a full-on, fun, entertaining mess. Just fucking great. I loved every minute of it. It was just fun. Next, Chris Jericho versus MJF, and MJF wins. He gets to join the inner circle. This match was very good. Again, more character-driven story. Was MJF said he was going to do whatever it took to beat Jericho, and MJF, held his own. Jericho was the de facto babyface, even though he's technically a heel, which I'll get into what's going to happen. I believe will happen. But MJF and Jericho, they really just had a really great match. Those two countering, MJF working Jericho. Jericho did a top rope Frankensteiner. At his age, when was the last time we seen Jericho do a top rope Frankensteiner? What, probably in his prime? Maybe his WF days or WCW days? It's been a long time since we've seen like somebody like Jericho at his age, almost 50, 30 years in this business doing a move like that. That's very impressive. But towards the end of the match, we see Wardlow come out. He hands MJF the dynamite ring. He looks like he's going to hit Jericho until Jake Hager tosses Jericho the baseball bat. And at this point, they're dead even. And keep in mind, Aubrey Edwards, the referee, has not paid attention to this. Until MJF decides, fuck this. Sorry. And then, so screws this, and he just plops to the ground. And Aubrey Edwards is looking at Jericho like, did you hit him? And Jericho's like, no, I didn't hit him. So MJF tried to pull an Eddie Guerrero. And then, while arguing with the ref, Jericho gets rolled up by MJF. MJF grabs a handful of pants and wins and beats Jericho. He lied, cheated, and stole Eddie Guerrero style. God, I fucking miss Eddie Guerrero so bad. And Jericho and MJF, they embrace. Wardlow's now officially part of the Inner Circle. So now the Inner Circle has seven members total. I know exactly where this is going to go. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say Revolution, we're going to see Jericho and MJF in a rematch. But for the next few months, MJF and Chris Jericho are going to be like the best of friends. But MJF is going to turn on Jericho, and he's going to be the new leader of the Inner Circle, and they're going to kick Jericho out of the group. Now, I don't know if that means like everybody on Inner Circle will join and be on MJF's side. Maybe Sammy Guevara will join Jericho, and he'll lead the Inner Circle. He could be a de facto babyface. But this is going to lead to MJF and the Inner Circle turning on Jericho. And this is going to lead to a second match where Jericho's going to go being the veteran babyface, and he's going to be on a mission to take out the thing that he created, the Inner Circle. And MJF's going to be the new leader. Because, to be honest, MJF is not a follower. The guy should be a leader, but there can't be two leaders. It's just not plausible. Plus, Jericho is getting over with the crowd. The crowd loves Jericho. Why not embrace it? Just have MJF be the biggest douchebag. Kick Jericho out of the group. Have the Inner Circle turn their back on Jericho and have Jericho be that veteran babyface going after the Inner Circle who betrayed him and going after the man that made it all possible of this bullshit. I think that's where we're going to go. Like I said, we got months away, but that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to say MJF is going to screw over Jericho. He's going to betray him. And then it's going to be MJF and Jericho 2 at Revolution, with this time Flowbone babyface Jericho and Flowbone heel MJF, and these two actually legit hate each other this time. I think that's where it's going to lead to. Main event: Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match for AEW World Championship. This match was not nearly as violent as I thought it should be, and maybe that was just me being me. That's my only nitpick for this match. I really wish this match went on a little bit longer and it got a little bit more violent, because these two are backyard wrestlers. They're really violent guys. But these two just went to war. They beat the crap out of each other, open hand striking, they just grappling, just beating each other with chairs, barbed wire bats. There was blood in this match. AK's poured alcohol all over Jon Moxley after taking a thumbtack spot, on the wounds. That stuff hurts. Brawn all over the outside. And just being a crowd match, neither one that would say the words "I quit" until Moxley grabs a piece of the barbed wire baseball bat. He grabs part of the barbed wire. He wraps it around his arm, his wrist, and he implies the same chokehold, that rear naked choke that he used to put away Eddie Kingston, and he wraps his arm with the barbed wire and he starts cranking on it on his throat. And the referee's asking Kingston, "Do you want to quit? Do you want to quit?" Kingston's like, no, until finally he couldn't take it anymore, and Kingston just says, "I quit." He couldn't take it anymore. It was too much. And Moxley retains. Not nearly as violent or as long as the Omega and Moxley match from last year's Full Gear, but still violent enough where you got the point of the story that they're trying to tell. Moxley wins, and Kingston leaves, and then we see Omega staring at Moxley, indicating that Omega is coming for Moxley's title, which again was ironic because Omega and Moxley last year Full Gear, like I said, had that lights out match, which Moxley won. Now this time it's going to be a sanctioned match. It's going to be a straight up one-on-one wrestling match. And I'm predicting this match is going to happen at Revolution. This should not happen on TV. This is a big match that you should do at Revolution. That's a big dream match, pay-per-view caliber world title match. And that's why I think Omega finally turns heel and he beats Moxley and becomes the new world champion. Because it's about time. Omega needs to be the world champion. He does. You need to strike with the irons hot. And this guy is now slowly starting to become his old clear days. Omega needs to be the world champion. And I think he should. And how ironic would be that on Revolution, the same pay-per-view Moxley won the world title is the same pay-per-view he loses to the title to the very same man that he beat at Full Gear 1 year ago. Just the story writes itself. The story writes itself, and I think that's the way it's going to go. They're going to do Omega and Moxley 2 at Revolution, and then Omega will win the world title there. That is my huge prediction. And I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that way. So with that being said, overall, besides the women's match being by far the weakest match on the show and a few nitpicks, an outstanding performance. AEW ended the year in terms of pay-per-views hot. They did a good job in the beginning of the year. They had another great show at Double or Nothing. Then they have a very controversial show at All Out, but then they ended it with this show. And I just want to say thank you, AEW. You learned from a lot of your mistakes, and you put on just one hell of a show. Everyone in that company, whether you're executive producer, you're referee, you're a wrestler, male, female, transgender, gay, it don't matter. Everyone put in their effort. The crowd helped this show a lot. This was just by far one of their best pay-per-views they've done, just in general, and by far their best pay-per-view of the year. I will stand by that. This was just a great overall pay-per-view. I give it a 9 out of 10. This was just a almost perfect pay-per-view for AEW. Just great job. There was not one match where I was angry. There was not one match or one moment that pissed me off. I may have been disappointed in some stuff, but it wasn't to the point where it ruined the show for me. There were some fun moments. There was some great wrestling as well. There were some stories that involved. Now there's stuff that's going to be happening that we got to wait later down the road. I got nothing else to say. Just watch people like Jess, Alex, and Salmons. They're probably going to praise the show as well as much as I am and anybody else. This was just a fantastic show. With that being said, tell me down below, guys, in the comments down below, what did you think about this pay-per-view? Did you like it? Did you not? Why or why not? What was your match tonight? Tell me down below. Give me your thoughts. Give me some predictions for what you think is going to happen for Revolution. With that being said, guys, I'm going to just say is take care of my peeps. I'm out of here. Have a good night.